Today is Saturday and it is the 25th of April. I have to check because I have absolutely no idea what the date is right now. I lose track of the days of the week as well. I guess because everything is the same, almost. The differentiation between Monday and Friday and Saturday and Sunday ceases to have relevance right now. Every single day is the same. Every day can either be a work day or a play day, but there are no strict rules surrounding these things. And while that doesn't affect me directly in the sense that I have always worked every single day of the week, if I have clients who want readings or who want to do a healing session with me or a counselling session with me, then I don't really mind what day of the week it is. It's all the same to me, because a lot of people can only come at the weekends. I tend to be really flexible about what day of the week I take off, and it varies from week to week. But I live with somebody else who keeps a work week, and so there's always been a bit of structure in my life, and now there seems to be less of a structure. Sundays were always obvious, because if I went out for a walk, everything would be shut. Whereas now it's like, well, everything's shut every single day of the week, and I can't go out for a walk. So, every day is like a complete bank holiday. So I guess you look out the window and it looks like Christmas Day, you could say, because everything is shut and there are no people around. And Christmas Day here is very much like that. It's very, very empty. And I think Christmas Day everywhere actually is very empty. Remember the year that I spent Christmas in central London, and I was really excited about it because I thought, oh wow, I'm living in central London in Covent Garden, spending Christmas time there. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be so nice to go out for a walk on Christmas Day and then go to church, and then afterwards go and get something to eat from a restaurant somewhere. And I was shocked by how empty it was and how haunting that was, because you never see London empty. And it was just deserted. There were no people anywhere, and hardly anything was open, and the places that were open weren't necessarily the places that I would have chosen to go. So that was really a really different experience, and not one I would readily repeat. But right now it feels like outside it feels like Christmas Day every day, in the respect that everything is shut, but not in the sense that it's joyful, because it's not necessarily joyful for us every single day. I think we have some joyful days at the moment, and we have some days that are just gloomy and cloudy and grey and are a real struggle to get through. And so I don't want to sound glib by relating outside to Christmas. I do not mean that at all. Outside is very much not Christmas at the moment. It is a strange new world. And it is a world that we don't understand yet. We don't know what's going to happen yet. We don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. I mean, this time next year, who knows what the world's going to be like? Who knows what our lives are going to be like? Will they ever return to normal, or will things be very, very different? I question things like, will my favourite shops be around still? There are some really little tiny boutique shops that I love to frequent. One of them is a haberdashery shop, and it's like an Aladdin's cave. It's amazing, and it has like just shelves and shelves and shelves and tiny little rooms that are just crammed full of products and drawers and boxes and everything. And you kind of go in there and you poke around, and you have to ask if you want to find anything, because everything's got a special place, and it's all like so much stuff is just pushed in there and stored away in a relatively small shop. And I worry about that shop and other places like it. I'm like, will they still be around? Because they're lovely little shops, and they've been there for years and years and years. But they're sole proprietors. It's just one person and maybe an assistant that work there. And how are they going to survive when they haven't been open and they haven't had an income and they've still got rent to pay? And I don't know the ins and outs of how the government have been supporting these people. I hope that they have, and I hope that when everything opens back up again, that they will all still be there, or most of them at least. But who knows? But this is an island of lots of small shops, and it's a worry that after this maybe the chains will take over because the smaller people will not have been able to survive. We shall see. We don't know what tomorrow will bring. We don't know what next month will bring. We don't know what next year will bring. We do know, I think, that there's not going to be a tourist season this year, and that the borders are going to stay closed until the end of the year, I think they're saying, which will be really strange, but I think is a sensible idea, because I think once we've got things under control here, which by all accounts is happening, then we want to make sure that we stay safe, and that we stay safe until the rest of the world is safe, and then we can open up the borders and let people in again. And so while I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen, my hope is that little whisper that I heard is the true whisper, because as much as I would like people to be able to come and visit, and I would like to see certain family members and friends, I don't want the gates to be opened and then anybody to suddenly be allowed to come in and out, and people who are sick without realizing it, bringing the virus over here again, and people that are sick and still choose to travel, bringing it over again. I really hope after this actually that people who are sick will, from now onwards, with any kind of contagious something, choose not to travel, because there have been many times when I've been sat in a train carriage or on an aeroplane with people who are obviously ill and should be at home in bed, and yet they still choose to travel, and you sit there and you worry and you think, gosh, am I going to catch it now? And it's not pleasant to be trapped in a small space with somebody who's blatantly got something that you don't want. So I hope that things like that will change, and I hope as well, in terms of when people go out shopping and to restaurants and stuff, that there will be more respect from now onwards around things like that. Who knows? One can only hope. I might be hoping for too much, but anyway. Okay, so I wanted to do a card reading for you again today, and I was going to do, lots of people have been kind of wondering about what they're going to do after this. They've had time away from work, they've had time to sit and think and to reassess their lives, and lots of them have had time to just enjoy having time and not being at work all day, every day, working so hard and then bringing it home with them in the evenings or maybe even on the weekends. And so lots of people have been asking and wondering, should I change my job when I go back to work, or should I stay as I am? And so I wanted to do a kind of like a yes/no reading, so that it can apply to everybody. So if you want to change jobs when we're allowed to go out again, then that'll be one card. And if you want to stay, and if you should stay where you are, that'll be another card. But it could also be the change job card could also be reduce my hours, or move to a different department, or shift focus, or take a sabbatical or something. So that one is stay the same and the other one is change, basically. So should I stay the same or should I shift? And if you look at it like that, then the two cards can, apply to a wider audience, hopefully. And that's always the key, is, that's always the aim, is to basically apply to the more people that we can. Sorry, my words are muddled today, but anyway, I'm going to keep going because who cares? It's just, that's not important whether the words are muddled or not, it's the message that counts. So I'm going to shuffle the cards, and then I'm going to pull two cards, and then I'm going to do the reading for you, okay? So I've already cleared the deck before I started recording. If you don't know how to do that, you can either hold the cards and wave sage over the top of them, or Palo Santo, and let the smoke go through the cards, and that will cleanse them for you. You can set a crystal on top if you like, and that will also clear the cards. And you can tap them 3 times and then hold them in your hand and send positive energy into them. So there's several different things you can do, and if you think your cards are feeling particularly funky, then you can do all 3. You know, there's no real rules around that. But at the very least, do make sure you just tap the cards 3 times just to kind of shake it all out from the last reading. Otherwise you might be carrying the last reading into this reading, and then that could change the outcome. So I clear the cards, and then I hold them, and I put the question into them, the intention into them, and then as I'm shuffling them, I keep thinking about that intention. And then I wait until the card pops out. So the first cards come out, and the second cards come out. Okay. So, the first card is the Ace of Cups. So I'll show you the card first, and then I'll read it afterwards. Apologies for it being back to front. I will figure it out at some point and work out how to film it so that the card is the right way around, but for now, we're all back to front. Me too. So yeah, so this card is basically, should I stay where I am? And okay, so we're looking at a hand coming out from the clouds holding a golden cup. And so this is about basically kind of like a gift coming from the universe or from heaven, yeah, a gift from higher powers. And this gift, the gift that's coming out, is the gift of love and friendship and relationships. Cups are all about relationships and passion, and they can also relate to creativity as well. And then in this card there is like a bird facing downwards, heading into the cup, holding a cross, and there is water pouring out of the cup, splashing as it goes down into this like beautiful kind of pond below that's still and calm and clear, and it's got water lilies growing out of it. Yeah. So this card kind of like tells me that where you are is actually a good place. You're in a good place. You're in a bountiful place. It's a place where your cup is always full and overflowing. It's a place where you feel connected. You feel guided, supported by the universe and you know, by the higher powers. It's a very spiritual place, a very rich place, a place that kind of like works with your it sits well with what you're intuitively guided to be doing, but while your cup is overflowing, also at the same time there are tears. There are tears coming from this cup too. You see? Falling into the water. So the cup is overflowing and your life is full and bountiful and you have plenty, but there are also some tears. So maybe you know, this place that you are in right now it's full and it's rich and it's giving you a lot. Yeah, it's supporting you in a very big, very useful, very empowering way. And you know, you kind of like, it's almost like, you know, your world is queen-like or king-like. Yeah, it's kind of like there's a royal edge to it, in the sense that you are fulfilling a lot of your needs and desires by being in this place, by following this pursuit. You know, it's ticking off a lot of your boxes, the things that you value as important in your life. But there are tears, and maybe the tears were there before, and maybe you were kind of like crying, grieving because of the sacrifice that this pursuit forced you to make. Like, you know, you didn't have as much time for the people around you who you cared about deeply. You didn't have time to do personal things, to study, to grow, to, you know, nurture your own life passions and soul. So the tears, could be around that, but the tears could also be now. Like maybe now, in this downtime, in this frozen, paused time, you have stopped and looked inward and questioned your life before and how you want your life to be afterwards. And you've felt sad because of the things that you have sacrificed and the cost that has been paid. You know, you might be, affording a nice lifestyle. You might be making a certain amount of money. You might be creating a certain kind of life for yourself, but there has been a cost. And that cost maybe has only now hit you. Maybe only now you are realizing that cost. And so you're grieving. You're feeling a bit sad, a bit kind of like mournful about the time, the years or whatever that you have lost devoted to this pursuit, this cause. So even though it is like a good space, an abundant space, and it's a space that you were guided to, so it's like a pursuit that you were supposed to be doing. You were led there, you were guided there. You have mixed feelings about it now. It's like, yes, your cup is overflowing. Yes, you have achieved the things that you wanted to achieve. You have proved certain things to yourself. You know, if you haven't achieved like financial wealth, maybe you've achieved, knowledge wealth or experience wealth, or the wealth that one gains through going through hardship and then you become strong, or the wealth of having to overcome something and then being changed by it and being more powerful as a result of it. So it's like there's been good there. There's definitely been good there, a lot of good, but there are also tears. So there's a questioning and a not quite sure if this is where you want to be now. So it's not a clear yes, this is where you should be, but it's also not a clear no, this isn't where you should be. It's more of a stop, sit down, think, maybe journal and make some notes and do a pros and cons list, because there's a lot that's good here, but there's also a lot that's being sacrificed, and you're aware of that now and you're feeling it. Okay, so the second card is the Five of Swords. So this card shows three people. There's the man in the forefront, and then there's two behind him. The man in the front has 3 swords. So he's done quite well in this fight. Yeah, he's kind of won. He's beaten at least 2 people, and then there's 2 people in the background who don't have swords. So they've been beaten, maybe by him. There's clouds overhead. It's looking a bit overcast, a bit unsure. And the ground is like a slate grey, so it's cold and it's hard and it's bleak, and the water and the mountains in the background also look cold and hard and bleak. The man standing in the front is wearing a green tunic. Green is all about the heart, and it's also about healing. And then he's got kind of like red underclothes on, or orangey red underclothes on. It's all about like kind of powering his roots and his womb and the womb space. So the space for your womb space is, in men and women, is like the place of creativity, also of desire, and then the roots are what keeps you anchored to the world, but also this is where your power comes from. It comes from your sense of security and stability. And the people in the background are wearing yellow, which is all about the solar plexus and intuition and gut instinct. And so looking at them, it's like the heart. So I think basically, like linking this to the last card as well, because there was the yellow chalice, the yellow goblet, it's like intuition kind of led you here. Yeah, you were guided to come here, and intuition led you to go here. Your gut led you to go here, and that was a good thing. That was a good thing for then. But now, like, intuition has been slain. It's being sent back. Go back, go away, because the heart needs to win now. So it's basically saying, this card is saying that it's time for the heart to take over. The intuition was in charge before, and that was a really good thing, and that was where you needed to be. But right now, given the current situation and the way that things are changing and where you are in your life right now on your path, it's time for your heart to lead. So draw strength from your roots, draw inspiration from your womb space, and then trust your heart as you lean into it and follow where it leads you. And the fact that this is a sword card, so this is all about thinking. Like cups is all about relationships and love and passion and, you know, getting carried away. Swords is more of a serious card. It's like kind of in the headspace card. And it's also a card of like words and, you know, like fighting and using like your sword. Your sword is your weapon, is your wand, and swords cut through things, and they're quite hard and cold and blunt. Like blunt, not in a oh, I've got a blunt sword, but blunt as in a, you know, just speak their mind, don't soften it with anything. Yeah. And so, like, from looking at this card now in relation to this reading and reading it, is that basically follow your heart. Whatever your heart is telling you to do is the right thing for you to do right now. But there will be a price to pay, because, like, you're gonna have to stand up for yourself in order to do this. You might have to fight a few battles. Like maybe you have to persuade some people that this is the right thing for you to do, or maybe you have to, you know, shift and move into a different industry, and then you have to like convince people to believe in you and to hire you and to give you a chance. And so, you know, it's not going to be a soft squishy time, even though it's like a follow your heart. It's not a soft squishy time. The soft squishy time was, I mean, if there was a soft squishy time, it was this time, but I don't think this was that soft and squishy, but it was softer. This one is harder. You're gonna have to be strong. It will require some self-esteem and self-confidence and standing up for yourself, standing up for what you believe in, even if you're not 100% sure that it's the right thing to do, or even if you don't feel 100% ready to be doing it yet, or 100% qualified. It's like, no, this is time to believe in yourself and follow your heart. What is your heart's desire? What is your dream? What do you feel compelled to do right now? Like life is for living. Life is for loving, especially right now in this, you know, situation that we're in, when we don't know what's going to happen in the future. You know, we don't know what's going to happen next week, next month, next year, the next few years. So now more than ever, it's a time to lean into and embrace what makes you happy. Get the most out of your life. Live for today. Don't live for the future. Be sensible so that you can save for the future, because, you know, like a lot of us are living on savings right now, as opposed to living on wages. So, you know, savings are really useful. So do think about things like that, obviously, but live for today. You know, make today count, make today matter, make today the day that lights you up, not tomorrow, not in 5 years time or 20 years time, heaven forbid. It's like, no, live for today, make today light you up. And so yeah, I guess like the answer basically at the end of the day comes down to, well, what do you want? Do you want safety? Because this one is got more safety and more security in it. It's like it's the cup in the hand. You have it already. You're holding it. and it's overflowing. It's something that you've poured a lot of time and effort and resources into. It's something that, you know, you've obviously become really good at because your cup is full and overflowing. And if you weren't very good at it, then your cup wouldn't be overflowing. But there is remorse, there is regret, there is grief. And so I guess it's like, is this good enough anymore? Or are those concerns now too strong for you to ignore? Like, can you go back and just push those things aside, chuck them over your shoulder again like you did before, and carry on and just, you know, suppress them and pretend they don't matter, and maybe have a glass of wine at the end of the day, or a big bowl of ice cream, or binge out on Netflix or something, or, you know, any kind of like avoidance tactic. And, you know, we all do things to suppress our emotions. So, you know, is that okay still? Can you still do that? Or do you need to lean into this card, which is a little scarier because it's the unknown, and, you know, it's not going to be plain sailing. This card is not saying that it's going to be an immediately successful venture, or that this is, you know, obviously the right choice. It's saying it's going to be hard. Yeah, it's going to be tough. I mean, you're going to have to fight a few battles here in order to stand up for yourself and support yourself and get what you want. And there will be sacrifices along the way. Yeah, it's like there's two people in the background. Well, maybe they're the sacrifices that you'll have to make. Maybe they're the things that you'll have to do without for a while, or the people that you will leave behind. You know, there's going to be loss here, but there is always loss with change. Every time we change something about ourselves or about our lives, yeah, we lose people and we lose things. You know, as we grow apart from people, and then we grow into new people, and, you know, build a new circle of friends and everything. And so there's always sacrifice with change, but with change also comes opportunity and potential, and happiness and peace if we get there, if we make the right choice. So listen to your heart, follow your heart, but also sit down and do some thinking, because Swords tells us, yeah, that we need to think about things. Yeah, we need to ask our minds what they're thinking as well. Weigh it all up, and then make a decision based on what the heart says, but an informed heart, not an ignorant heart. So I hope that helps. Yeah, keep watching these videos, keep subscribed to the channel, and if you want to know more about me, you can check out my Instagram account page, or also my website, and they're both under the name Lemon Rose Petals. So it's the same name as this channel. Lemon Rose Petals is also my website and my Instagram. My website, I think, is .com or .co.uk. I can't actually remember right now, but you should be able to find it. Where there's a will, there's a will, there's a way. And if you're meant to find me, then you will find me. And if you're not meant to find me, then I guess you won't find me until maybe another time. So I wish you a good day, and I really hope that card reading helped you in some way, and I will see you next time.